Hello, everyone. Welcome. You're watching Voices, and I'm delighted that you have joined us. Voices is a program of the Communication Department of the Atlantic Caribbean Union of Seventh-day Adventist. And today in studio, we're delighted to welcome two beautiful young people. They are members of God's Remnant Church. They refer to themselves as the Greene sisters, and I'm talking about Marisa and Michelle. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's a joy to have you. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Great.
Okay. Both of you said great.
Yes. Trying to be positive, you know?
Beautiful, beautiful. You're not twins.
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
No,
Who is older? Who's the boss lady?
That would be me.
she's not the boss lady though. She's older, but she's not the boss.
She's older, all right. Well, would you tell us a little bit about your upbringing, if you would, as we begin the show today?
Well, I could say that we were brought up in a very tight-knit family, and my parents, Michelle and Ian, and my brother, Ian Jr., we all grew up on the island of San Salvador. And I can honestly say that the experience has been a good one for me personally, because I think the way we were raised helped us to be shaped into the persons that we are now. So definitely could say that my parents did a good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marisa and Michelle.
Yes.
Go ahead for me.
Well, like she said, we grew up on San Salvador, and so that's basically home. Well, for me personally, I know that my parents wanted us to be close, so that's probably why they had us so close in age.
Okay.
But yeah, we grew up close together. We grew up doing a lot of things together, singing. We all ended up doing sports at one point at school, Pathfinders. There was a lot of things, and we always did things as a family as well. So I think that helped to keep us close.
Okay. And you say you have a brother?
Yes.
Yes.
Ian Jr.
Ian Jr. Tell me about him.
He's not here in the Bahamas at this time. He's in Michigan studying architecture at Andrews University.
Okay, good. And where does he fall? He's the baby? He's the
No,
older?
no.
He's in the
In
middle.
between.
Right in the middle.
Good. I know it must be a real joy to have him right in there. Hey.
Yeah, he smacks down right in the middle.
I think he brings the balance.
He
Yeah.
brings the balance.
Yes.
Okay. As sisters, do you find that growing up you probably used to fight sometimes?
What?
All the time.
No.
Yes.
Well,
We have strong personalities.
I see.
And sometimes they clash.
They clash all the
Okay.
time.
Oh man. Okay. My wife and I, we have these two girls also, and similar situation. We say, wow, they just sometimes nonstop, but we give God thanks, eh?
Yeah, I
And-
mean, it's gonna happen, but you can't really get in between it because you can't understand it. So
Okay.
sisterly love.
Sisterly love. Okay. That reveals itself in different ways. I can
Right.
appreciate
Unique
that.
ways.
All right. Now let me ask you, your parents, Ian and Michelle?
yes.
So you're named after your mom?
I am named after my mom.
Well, you tell me about your mom then.
Well, she was a school teacher, and she actually taught me at one point.
That's it.
I'll say this now, she's the best
Okay.
teacher that I've
Okay.
ever had. And even at home, she would always bring work home. She would make sure we have lessons and stuff. But she wasn't just a school teacher, she was also a mentor. She was our choir director for many years. So
Okay.
she likes to say, I found your voice.
Okay. I always see her as being such a quiet person.
Wow. As a teacher, you can't be quiet.
That's
No,
it,
you have to
that's
have that
it. Okay.
assertiveness.
Yes, all right. And she even conducted the choir.
Yes, she was our choir director.
Beautiful. And then the gentleman then, your father, it falls your lot to just tell us a little bit about him.
Well, the only thing I can say about him is he's God-fearing and he's very assertive. He's probably the most aggressive person that you will ever meet, but he's aggressive in a good way. He's
Okay.
always trying to do good and trying to make sure that everything is okay for everybody.
And she looks just like him.
Yes, my twin.
Beautiful, man. I know Ian and I really love him, man. He has just this wonderful spirit. For him, what I see is what you see
What you get.
Yes,
is what you
that's
get.
it.
Straightforward.
You know? That's it. And beautiful parents that you both have. Now, both of you are pursuing your education? Where you at?
Well, at this time, I'm still studying. I'm studying at the College of the Bahamas now, French and Spanish. That's my major.
Okay.
And hopefully I can be completed within a year or so.
Okay, good stuff. Congratulations to you.
Thank
And
you.
Michelle?
Well, I'm walking this spring from the College of the Bahamas with my bachelor's in media journalism.
Okay.
And my mom always said, always go further, so that's all of our plans.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so you're doing languages,
Yes.
can you say that right? Okay, and you're going to be graduating hopefully this spring, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. I wish you guys all the best then,
Thank
okay?
you.
And when you see that play out now, you say that you do have some San Salvador blood in you. All right. when I spoke to your father not too long ago, he was telling me it's the land where Christopher Columbus, no matter what people say,
Yes.
you know, and all of that. But when you think San Salvador, what comes to your mind?
Home.
Home.
It's
Wow.
all I know.
Is that
And
so?
any opportunity that I can get to return, I will.
Yeah, it's definitely a very unique place and it's very beautiful.
Okay.
I recommend it to anyone who wants to relax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Singing has been a passion for you both.
Yes.
How long have you been singing? What are your earliest recollections?
I would say, well, she's been singing longer than me, obviously. But fluffy white dresses with one mic to share between 3 siblings
Okay.
in our church for as long as we can remember ourselves.
Yeah, honestly, I can't tell you when I started.
Uh-huh.
I just always did it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow. What parts do you sing?
I sing soprano and alto.
And I sing alto and alto.
Okay.
Funny thing, I started off singing soprano first, and she started off singing
Right.
alto.
And now I'm
We
usually
switched.
the soprano and she's usually the alto.
Wow.
So,
We have as a people just enjoyed your music, and we just want to commend you.
Thank
One
you.
of the things that I hear the young people say about you all is that when you sing with passion, you sing from your
try.
heart, and you put everything in it. And look at these 2 little girls up there just pouring out their hearts, and so we just want to commend you for that. All
Thank
right?
you.
It is beautiful to see you guys doing that. Now, on the Family Islands, you don't have as many people as you would have, let's say, in New Providence.
Most definitely.
Okay. That means that you would have been active from earliest as well, taking different roles and positions. What have you done in church? Or maybe it's what have you not done in church?
I know, right? I can honestly say I've done just about everything except like not taking the official role as, say, assistant treasurer or a deaconess. Like officially I never took those roles, but
Okay.
I kind of had my hand in a little bit of everything. At some point I had to do Sabbath school. I was in charge of AY for a long time. I had to help with Family Life Ministries, and yeah, we kind of did everything.
Okay, good. Same thing for you, Michelle?
Well, she had more opportunities than I
Right.
did because there were a lot of older youths at the time. So I was one of the babies.
Okay.
So when they were being the heads of the church, the junior heads, so to speak, I was right behind them. So I was kind of
Okay.
like the little assistant.
Okay, in the shadows.
Yes, basically.
All right, good, good. Now, I wanna throw the first sleeping policeman, we say in Jamaica, this first bump in the road here, dating. Do you get a chance to?
Not really. Not really.
And why would that be?
I can say personally, I am very active. I have a very active life. Everybody who knows me can tell you that I'm not home. I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. I'm always traveling. So
Okay.
I rarely have time to, say, pursue that. But I think when I I get a little bit more grounded, I would probably make more time for it.
Okay. It's not on your top priority right now.
No.
Beautiful. Okay. So you wouldn't even want to know places that the young people could go for dating and other things like that
Well, they should
necessarily.
start in the church.
Okay.
I think
Well,
you should be aware of places you can go, but I think as a Christian, wherever you choose to go now, it should be an option as to say when you decide to date, okay, this place is a safe place and I can do it with other people my age or whatever in an appropriate manner.
Okay.
So you should you should be aware of what you can or what you should and shouldn't do.
Okay. So I hear Marisa saying safety, and I hear her saying group date.
Yes.
Is that what you would recommend?
It's actually what we were taught. My parents always said that, you know, there's power in numbers.
Okay.
So to keep yourself out of harm's way and to not be a devil's advocate, why would just avoid that situation altogether? And you can still have this same great time, same fun with your peers.
You mentioned your parents have taught you that there's this power in numbers.
Yes,
You get along with your parents?
most definitely. I'm like
Do you have fun
the
together?
apple of the eye.
Is that so?
Yes.
They love you that much?
Yeah. I'm sure they do.
Okay. I have heard horror stories of interpersonal relationships with children and their parents, young people and their parents, especially when they become teenagers and just a little bit older. What kind of advice would you give to the young people to help them to relate to their parents?
Well, they have to understand that it's in the Ten Commandments. First of all, honor your father and your mother, despite what you may think and despite what you may feel. Even if you are right, they're still your parents. God gave you to them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, definitely. You should respect them. And I think young people need to realize that they were once our age and they kind of understand the world may be different now, yes, most definitely. But at the same time, the advice that they give you is actually helpful because they've probably already been in the situation or they've seen or experienced it in another way. So I definitely think you just have to be mindful that you can't always have your own way, obviously not. And if you want to, you can move out. Because if you live with them and they provided for you,
Right.
you should respect that. That's how I
Okay.
feel.
All right, beautiful. Did any of you ever got spanking when you were growing up?
It's not a matter of if.
I know,
It's how
right?
many times.
A lot.
They like to say
it
they
wasn't too much, like, but it
No.
felt like a lot.
It felt like a lot back then.
Yeah.
But
When you're thinking about
now,
it, it wasn't that much,
No.
but it felt like a lot.
They did it in love.
They
Yeah,
didn't know. They had their
definitely.
reasons. They were right.
They were right.
Yes.
Okay. Did they give you a cup of water to drink or something like
Oh
that?
my gosh, yes. Like to calm down, just calm
Okay.
and think about whatever the wrong action was.
Reflections.
Just reflect on it.
Okay.
Sit down and meditate and sit, so you wouldn't do it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give you it from a flip side. A lot of folk today, we've discovered that there are children that are raising their parents. When they want something, they start from babies apparently,
Yeah.
and they cry to get things.
Yeah.
What do you say to parents in that respect? As young people, do you think that you get to love parents more? And it's not your parents, so it's hypothetical, but it's very real in a lot of people's lives. What do you say to the parents?
Well, the parents have to realize that you can't love your child so much that you let them do what they want. Everybody has to have boundaries. When you go to the workplace, when you're in school, you have to have boundaries. So in the sense, you have to create boundaries to create a safe environment for your child so that they can understand that there are certain things that are right and there are certain things that are wrong. There is a code of conduct that they have to abide by. So I think the boundaries are important and parents need to understand that, yes, you may feel uncomfortable punishing the child, but at the end of the day, you're doing your child a favor. Because if you don't control them now, then unfortunately, if they become a menace to society, the law will have to take action. So I definitely think they should put their foot down.
Good. Michelle, before you come in on that, I'd like for us to just take a little break. I don't want our folk to go away. We're going to have some beautiful interlude, and then we'll come right back, okay? So please hold the thought for me. We'll be right back.
Jesus is listening when you pray. King Jesus is listening when you praise. Waiting to hear you, comfort and cheer you. King Jesus is listening when you pray. King Jesus is listening when you pray. King Jesus is listening when you praise. Waiting to hear you, comfort and cheer you. King Jesus is listening when you pray. If I hold my peace by Jesus, will be coming for me one day. King Jesus is listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening when you pray. If I hold my peace by Jesus, will be coming for me one day. King Jesus is listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening when you pray. Whoa, whoa, whoa. King Jesus is listening. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening when you pray. Whoa, whoa, whoa. King Jesus is listening. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening. King Jesus is listening. King Jesus is listening. King Jesus is listening. My Jesus is listening. My Jesus is listening. He's listening. He's listening. King Jesus is listening when you
Welcome back. You're watching Voices, and I'm your host, Eric D. Clark, and I'm so excited and delighted and all those beautiful adjectives to have two wonderful sisters, the Greene sisters, in studio with me. They are Marisa and Michelle. Again, I want to say welcome to this second half. We just enjoyed your music just now, and I can see all those young folk cheering for you. Michelle, before we had the break, it was your time just to flip the coin, so to speak, and talk a little bit about what you see happening with regards to children bringing up their parents.
Well, it's something that I find shocking because I personally don't have that experience. But for the parents, they have to understand that if their relationship with their child should be like what God has with his people, then, and if God disciplines who he loves, then you should not be afraid to put your child in their place, because they're not your friends. God gave them to you so that you can raise them and nurture them to be a part of God's kingdom.
Wow, that's powerful. I hear her saying, Marisa, that your children are not necessarily, and first of all, your friends.
No.
Your parents ever used to tell you that?
Every day.
Their role was to make sure, train you,
Yeah.
so that you can train others
Right.
and be a blessing. Wow, that is powerful. In fact, the Bible says it very distinctly when it says, do not spare the rod, you spoil the child. I think that my father rejoiced when he found that text in the Bible.
I know, right?
And if there was one text I could tear out of the Bible, it would have been that one, you know? But that's what it is. And as a result of that, we see, as you've been indicating, that God has a set of laws and rules and regulations, and we want to follow him because he knows what's best for us.
Right.
And the same thing with the parents. They want you to follow them because they know what is best. You'll always find a bad apple, isn't that so?
Yeah. Right.
But the principle is still the same.
Exactly.
All right. Let me ask you about your parents growing up, whether it's in San Salvador or spending time in Nassau. Are there any cherished memories that you have? Do you remember anything that you'll always remember?
Well, I can say Disneyland because we went, but unfortunately, my face was not the most pleasant in those pictures because I was like 2. It was that period.
Okay.
But for me, I remember this one time. It was back home in San Salvador. It was a Sunday. My parents were cooking, and we were playing hide and seek. Now, back then, the house was big. And so there were so many places to hide, and I don't recall who was it. I just know it wasn't me.
Okay.
And I needed to hide. And I remember I was starting to cry because I could not find a place to hide. And mommy and them, they just hit me in the cupboard behind the cans and stuff. And I was like, oh.
Okay.
All right.
It was something I always remembered even now because I realized they were just trying to get in on the action while they were doing their daily chores or what have you.
And they forgot you?
No, they didn't forget me.
Okay.
I won the game.
Oh, beautiful. Congratulations. All right. Marisa?
I can honestly say I can't even say every Sunday, but when we were younger, almost every afternoon except Friday and Saturday, yeah, we exercised together as family. And
Okay.
I hated it.
Wow.
I hated it because I wasn't as athletic as everyone else, but I enjoyed it. At the end of every session, I would be happier. We'd be laughing. Everything would be fine. But every afternoon, I'd be like, "Ugh, I have to do this again." But I think it was something that we did together to help us to bond, and obviously, to promote fitness because that's so important. So, yeah, I definitely.
Wow.
I appreciated those moments that we had.
Okay. Melissa, what about Sabbath lunches?
Oh man, Sabbath lunch wasn't just family. It was
everybody.
It was everyone. It was church family.
Every weekend we had a lot of people, whether they were strangers, visitors, family members, church family. We definitely that was something that we always did, like every Sabbath.
And there was a definite bonding that took place?
Yeah, between us and the church as well. I think we were all much closer in a sense because we spent like the whole day together, everyone.
So church was an integral part of your upbringing.
Right,
definitely.
Okay, sounds good to me. I know how the family islands are and all of that. When you think about the church though, I serve as youth director at this level, and I appreciate the young people. What can the church do to be more attractive, to be more appealing, to be more user-friendly to our young people? And no holds barred, just let me have it.
Well, for me personally, the church has nothing to do with being attractive because that's not what you're coming to church for. But I understand that people learn in different ways, so you have to meet them where they are. First of all, we don't all grow spiritually the same, and then we all make mistakes. So no bantering and bashing, but you have to love us, when we make our mistakes. And AY, to say, I think it can be more engaging. Because currently, from what I can see personally, I think it's more geared to preteen now than teen.
Okay. Marisa, what would you say?
I don't. I don't think we need to make church itself attractive. I think we, the people, need to be more friendly and welcoming, so that people will want to come. The young people will want to, engage in the activities that we have. Sometimes we get caught up in our own little agendas, and we might exclude them in ways that, we want to take over everything. The adults want to take over everything, and sometimes you need to have their input and let them take charge, guide them, but let them lead out, like be in the front. And definitely when you're inviting other young people, I think we definitely just need to be more friendly, because from my personal experience, sometimes the other young people would complain that they don't feel welcome.
Okay.
So we definitely need to work on that.
Bible study, is it important to you?
Most definitely. As a child growing up, as children, we would have to, based on our quarterlies, our respective quarterlies, we would have to do a summary of each lesson and then analyze the lesson.
Okay.
And as we got older, it became more personal. You did it in your own time. But morning devotions, evening devotions, Sabbath worship, all of that helps you to grow.
Okay.
And it keeps you closer to God. So
Beautiful. So the church, you don't want the church to lose its biblical emphasis.
Right.
It's more than just a tradition.
yeah.
It's what we are built on. It's what we stand for. What about music in the church?
I love music personally. That's one of the things that I come to church for.
Okay.
Not just for the preaching as
Right,
well, but
right.
I definitely love good music. But I think sometimes we focus too much on it, and sometimes we are influenced by what seems to be most popular, like the trend of the time. And music can be interesting, it can be fun, but you have to understand that its primary goal is to bring honor and glory to God. You have to use it to worship Him. So you have to definitely draw the line with certain things that we do, and we have to know what's appropriate and what's not, what's inappropriate anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I want to throw a couple of words at you and ask you guys, what do you think? When you think as young Adventist Christians, when you hear about the 28 fundamental beliefs, what comes to your mind?
The foundations upon which our church is built upon, and the things that we believe, that we specifically believe, and that we live.
Good. The second coming of Christ.
The greatest hope we can ever have.
Wow.
Yeah.
The greatest hope. I love that. What about Pathfinders?
Oh man.
Discipline, discipline, discipline.
Marching band, so many other things. Learning crafts.
It's all encompassing. It's something that will help you grow in every aspect of your life.
Okay. Let me work outside of church for a moment. The 4 bills.
Well, I know currently that's a big thing in the Bahamas right now. It's specifically the 4th one, but I know that we can't look always at what our government is doing, because everybody has their own personal reasoning or opinion about that bill, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to realize that everything is gearing towards the second coming, so we shouldn't be shocked and we shouldn't be surprised at anything that happens.
Okay, all right. Cremation.
Economically, it's cheaper. I would do it. I mean, if I die, you can cremate me. I don't mind. But I think altering our physical body here in this life, it's not going to affect what happens, because Jesus has the power to restore us, and He won't just restore us, He will give us a brand new body that's better than ever. So we don't have to worry about cremation. You know,
The importance of prayer.
something to help you stay sane.
Your lifeline.
You need it.
Okay. What about General Conference?
Oh, GC. When I think of GC, growing up, when I thought of GC, I thought all the Adventists from around the world would come together, we would band up and do something great. I mean, it's still the same thing, but I understand more that GC, it's worldwide. all Adventists, and when you think of Adventists around the world, you know you're not alone.
That's right. More than 18 million
Right.
baptized members. What about sex before marriage?
Something you should not do. You definitely should not do, because it's something that God intended for us to enjoy in a marriage setting. So it's definitely not something that you should engage in before.
Okay. Let me ask you then, what does the future hold for you ladies? What are your goals, your dreams, your aspirations? What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
Well, forever singing, most
Okay,
definitely.
good.
But I currently work at the South Bahamas Conference in the media department.
Congratulations.
But like I said, I want to further my studies, hopefully with a master's. Who knows what's beyond that?
Okay, what area would you want to do that in?
Communication, most definitely.
Okay, good. Marisa?
In 5 years, I see myself hoping to learn another language besides Spanish and French. I want to be a polyglot,
Okay.
and I want to use my talents not only in the Bahamas, but perhaps traveling to other places and even in missionary work.
Sounds good. Now, before I ask you the last question, I just want to ask you to enlighten my dark understanding. Did she say polyglot?
I think she did.
Yes.
She did.
It means like someone who speaks more than 2 languages.
Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you so much. On behalf of all the young people and others who are watching the program, we appreciate the new word today, right?
You learn something every day.
There you go. All right. Now, my final question or point to you ladies are, what message, in just a brief 30 seconds, would you give to the young people out there as we wrap up our program today?
Well, you can't be discouraged in doing good. You can't be worried, no matter what the circumstances around you may be, and you can't give in to peer pressure, so to speak. Know that God is always on your side.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Put God first every single day before you step out.
Put God first and never give up.
Right.
Never, ever give up. Marisa and Michelle, I just want to thank you on behalf of our communication department, Dr. Cheryl Rule, Elder John Garcia, and the beautiful team at the union headquarters. We just want to thank you, young ladies. Want you to know how proud we are of you, as well as your brother and your parents. And we ask you to keep on keeping on, all right? God bless you. This has been Voices. I'm Eric D. Clark. Thank you for watching and viewing the program today. We applaud not only these 2 young people, but all of our young people. We just ask you to continue to lift them up in prayer so that the church militant may become the church triumphant.